Good morning. This is the morning news on Remote TV. I am Oluduro Jeremiah. On the national news, President Buhari yesterday blamed the delay in supply of military hardware by manufacturers for the handicap the administration is facing in fighting Boko Haram bandits and other violent crimes in the country. He stated this shortly after observing the Eid prayer, marking the end of the month-long Ramadan fast at Aso Villa, Abuja yesterday, while calling for understanding by Nigerians. In a statement by his Senior Special Assistant to Media Publicity, Gabashewu, President Buhari said the elite should make the attempt to understand the military. If we order for weapons and armored vehicles, it takes time for the manufacturers to ship them. And when brought here, eventually they are taken to training institutions where we train trainers before sending them to the field. This is a very long process. I expect Nigerians to be more understanding on the issues involved, looking at time and available resources. Still on national news, the President of the Senate, Lawan, has faulted calls for restructuring by Southern governors. He said elected leaders ought not to champion such calls, but rather concentrate on working hard to force restructure their state before asking the federal government to do so. Lawan said this in an interview with State House correspondent in Abuja on Thursday after observing the Eid Fitr prayers at the fourth court of the presidential villa. He said, "I believe that leaders, especially those of us who are elected into office, should not be at the forefront of calling for this kind of thing, restructuring. Because even if you are a governor, you are supposed to be working hard in your state to ensure that the restructuring you are calling for at the federal level, you have done it in your state as well. What you may accuse the federal government of, whatever it is, you may also be accused of the same thing in your state. So we are supposed to ensure that we have a complete and total way of ensuring that our systems at the federal, state and even local government levels work for the people. We must allow people to participate in governance so that whoever feels he has something to offer to make Nigeria better does so freely without any let or hindrance." The Senate President further said the President is reaching out to all stakeholders, and I believe that as leader, particularly those of us who were elected at all levels of government, we should avoid partisanship. On international news, 9 people were wounded on Thursday evening in Rhode Island capital in what police here believe to be the largest shooting in city history. Of the 9, 3 had serious injuries and were maybe critical, Providence Police Chief Colonel Ruth D. Clement told reporters at the scene. He said multiple guns were used and it involved an ongoing feud involving 2 groups known to authorities. He said the shooting began with gunfire emanating from a vehicle targeting a home. The person or people inside the home then returned fire. He described the participants as young men. The shooting took place just before 7 p.m. in the southeastern neighborhood of Washington Park, which Clement described as a typical quiet neighborhood. Clement said an estimated several dozen of shots were fired. Evidence markers showing where more than a dozen shell cases littered the ground could be seen in the distance. The police have sealed off the area. No arrests have been made. Clement stressed the investigation was still in its early stages. On sport news, petition to cancel the Tokyo Olympics with more than 351,000 signatures were submitted to the city's governor on Friday, with its organizer urging officials to prioritize life. The online petition titled "Cancel the Tokyo Olympics to Protect Our Lives" was launched earlier this month by Kenji Utsumiya, a lawyer and former candidate for Tokyo governor. It has gathered signatures faster than any previous petition on change.org platform in Japan, which Utsumiya said reflects public opinion on the issue. Polls consistently show a majority of Japanese oppose holding the games this year, favoring either a further delay or cancellation due to the coronavirus pandemic. "I think the Olympics this time is about whether we prioritize life or a ceremony and event called Olympics," Utsumiya told reporters. He called on Tokyo Governor Yuko Koike to ask the International Olympic Committee (IOC) to cancel the games. And lastly, on entertainment, popular Nigerian singer Dapo Oyebanjo, fondly known as D'banj, has revealed plans to unveil a new studio signing to record label DB Records. The self-acclaimed Coco Master made the announcement on Thursday via his verified Instagram page, where he uploaded a poster showing the studio signing with a covered face. The poster read, "New artist unveiled by DB Records." In the caption section, the band wrote, "Ladies and gentlemen, Adidu Records official has the first lady. Guess who she is?" And that's all in the morning news on Remote TV. For more news, check us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Official Remote TV. Visit our website at www.remotetv.com.au. I am Olivia Jeremiah. Good morning.